Hey folks, Dave here, still here, more or less. I thought I would just kind of get everybody caught up on what the heck is going on around here and why you haven't seen me on here too much, or why you haven't really seen uh, the show. And now I can't even get YouTube to load here. So that's just kind of par for the course right now with what's going on. Nothing good is going on right now. I can tell you that right now. And even less is going on with YouTube right now. So, all right, here we go. Holy cow! So, where do I begin? Um, so let's start with last week, shall we? So what we were trying to do a show last week, and I don't know if he did or not, but we tried to connect. And Ron's been having issues at his house with with the family and the animals and the whole bit, and then it was my turn. And so, what ends up happening is we rushed my dog to the emergency room last week, coughing up blood. Yeah, this is not the one that had the leg amputation. This is the other dog. This is kind of my dog, so to speak. And so we get him in there, and they check him all out, and they go through everything, and they say, we think it's in his mouth. We think he's got a mouth infection, and it's bleeding. Crossing fingers, because if it's not, then it's inside, and when it's bleeding inside, that's not good. So they gave us a bunch of medication, and we gave it to the dog, and 2 days later, the bad breath went away, the bleeding stopped, and we think that the bacteria infection is gone, or whatever it was they thought. So fingers crossed. So that's good news for the dog, right? Well, then we have the wife. She's had a lot of pain in her stomach, and they started checking it out, and they said, yeah, we need to take out your gallbladder. So yesterday she went in and had gallbladder surgery, and she's been home today. And of course, if you've ever had any kind of procedure done at the hospital, right, you come home and you're like, oh, that was nothing. I don't feel a thing. Everything's great, I've all been there too, I've been there a couple times with some things. And you're like, that's no big deal. I'll be back to work tomorrow. And then like all the medication from the hospital wears off, and they give you the over-the-counter stuff, which doesn't do a thing. And so she's in a lot of pain right now. I'm like, well, I told you the first day is great. Days 2 and 3, not so good. Day 4 will get better. So she's upstairs recovering right now from surgery. She's probably going to be off the rest of the week, but it went well, so that was good. And then on top of all that, I come home this weekend, Saturday afternoon after work, and I come downstairs. Now, we have a small little tub down here. We've had it since we bought the house 25 years ago. It fit through the bulkhead. It's just this tiny thing. It doesn't do much. It just kind of, it's hot water. So we had a little tub down here for years. And I knew one day something would happen and we'd have a problem. And we kind of did. And I come home and the rug around it was all wet. And I'm like, oh boy. So I look in the tub and it's still full of water, but there must have been a leak somewhere. So I bailed out all the water. It took me about a half hour or so to bail out all the water so it's below the jet level, so it's not leaking anymore. And I said, oh, maybe I got it. Maybe just a little bit leaked into the rug, right? Nope. The next day, I'm like, you know something? I better check. So I lift. So we have down here. I don't know if you can see the floor down here at all, but it's well, I can see it at all. But we have this. See that laminate flooring? That's what we have throughout the basement. Okay, it was a cheap laminate flooring that we got years ago, and a friend of mine helped me put it. Oh, he did it. I kind of watched, but he did it, and that's been down here about 13 years. We did the laminate flooring, the whole basement, right? We found them on sale. We went to Lowe's, right? And I says, I want something nice and bright for down here. And he goes, oh, how about these? They're like 50% off. There's a whole pallet of them. And like, I forget what they were for a package, but they were the cheapest thing there. It's like, beautiful, right? We'll get that. So we didn't even, a couple $100 in materials. It wasn't even that much because it was on sale. They were getting rid of it. And so he put it in for me and whatever. And so it's been good for 13 years. And, well, the tub sprung a leak. And so I started lifting up these floorboards, and there was water under there. I'm like, great. So I pull all around the tub, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I got it now. So I just got to just replace this little area. And in fact, I still have a couple of packages in the shed that, okay, we'll be fine, right? some reason I said keep checking. So I kept lifting up the rest of them because they do lift up, and I kept seeing moisture in water. So I kept peeling it back and peeling it back. Next thing you know, half the basement floor is gone. Every time I would pick up a row of these things, it would be wet. And I dry it out, and I lift up the next row, and it's wet. And you got to kind of get it all. You really got to, you do. Next thing you know, like I say, almost more, I think it's more than half the basement is wiped out. The good news is, if there's any good news, is that I didn't lose any equipment. I didn't lose any of my games or my cards. All the damage was underneath the floor. So if there's any good news, I didn't lose any computers. Nothing got damaged per se. But the floor is, that's where I've been since probably Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, now Wednesday. I've been down here 3 or 4 hours a day. And of course it's raining outside and it's muggy as heck. And with the moisture down here, you work for an hour and you're just soaked and you're miserable. So that's what I've been doing, is I've been ripping up my floor. And to make it even worse, underneath the floor, there was tile on the cement. Luckily, there's no wood down here. It's all cement. So, nothing rotted away. And all the tiles that were underneath just kind of disintegrated. So now I get this little thing here, and I'm scratching away at the tile, trying to get the tile up. And, oh, my gosh. So I don't have all the tile up yet, but I have some of it. So that's where I've been. Yeah, when it rains, it pours. Yeah, so I got the dog on the mend, the wife on the mend. And the killer thing about the tub down here, like I said, we've had it 25 years. Nobody will work on it because A, they didn't sell it to you, and B, it's in the house. They don't want to work on it in the house. It's convenient to have it here in the cellar because you can just jump in. You don't got to go outside or worry about it. It's cheap to run because it's room temperature, so you're not, if it's 0 degrees outside, it's 68, 70 in here, so it was cheap as heck. We got it for under $2,000 25 years ago. Worked on it a couple times or whatever. But I knew one day I would come home and we'd have water, and that day came. Luckily, I think I caught it before it did any real damage. So that's where I've been, is cleaning up the floor, cleaning up the tile. And what really stinks is like Studio A is right to my left, and Studio A, it's just when you have a flood, that's what happens, is you start stacking things on things. And so all my gaming in Studio A is just stacked on the table. Tables are on couches, chairs are on couches, because So the only good news is we decided we were going to get rid of the tub, because I said, something, it's 25 years old, and unless we fix all the seals and all the tubes, it's old. It's time to move on from it. And the one guy that worked on it 3 years ago never got back to me, so I take it he's out of business or doesn't want to do the job. So we decided to get rid of the tub. And I thought I would have to disassemble it and cut it all up and the whole bit. I'm like, oh man, that's going to be a 3-week project for me to do that in my spare time, right? So my friend that come over today, he's helped me out, and he goes, why don't you just call a junk company and see what they would get, to take it away. Who knows, I said, no, they're going to want big bucks to haul this thing out of here. And so we get done cleaning up, and I says, I'm done for the day. So I sat down, took a shower, and I took his advice, made a call. So I searched, tub removal, right? First guy I called, yep, just, few $100, we'll come over, we'll cut it all up, you don't lift a finger, we'll take it all out, and it's like, beautiful. I was expecting, big bucks for this thing. And he's like, yeah, we'll take all that tile and stuff and everything. And I was holy crap. So this guy just saved my bacon. If he comes through. He goes, I can be there Friday. Friday morning, we'll get it out of there. Oh, man, that'd be great. So the good news is that we're going to get it out of here. I don't got to do anything. I'm going to pay the young guys to do it all. And then Monday, I got a guy coming in to look at the floor. And I'm like, can you just throw some vinyl down or something, just something that looks better than this, because I'm not going to go and put all the wood down again. I'm done with that. I'm done with, the vinyl. If there's any kind of leaking at all again in the future or anything, the vinyl would be fine. So that's why you haven't seen me. And I, this just happens. It's life, and we've done shows on life. But between the dog being sick, and that tied me up for a few days, and then the wife, her thing, and then this cellar thing, and it's, I have real bad anxiety, as you probably know. So when I come downstairs and I just see things ripped apart and stuff just in the corner, even my new little electronic drum set stuffed in a corner. I can't even play drums because everything is off to the side while I'm cleaning up. I don't know how the heck they're going to put in the floor because I have a lot of furniture down here and all my office stuff, as you can see behind me. So everything's going to probably have to come this way while they put the floor down. I don't know how they're going to do it. Well, hopefully they can. But so if all goes well, Friday we'll get this tub out of here and I'll finish cleaning up. Monday we'll have somebody looking at the floor. I don't know how long that'll take or what that'll cost. Hopefully it's not too much because I need to do something. It does look bad and it sucks to walk on. So yeah, that's what I've been doing aside from playing games and doing the podcast. So yeah, as like I said, world's worst game. When it rains, it pours. Absolutely does. And thank you for the well wishes. Michael stops by, and yeah, it's just we go through a tough time. Again, it's nothing horrible. The dog's doing better. The wife's recovering, and it's just a floor. And I keep telling myself it's just a floor. But you have to walk on the floor, and now I can't, like I said, I can't play my drums. I can't go to Studio A, and all I'm doing is, I get fans going 24 hours a day, and I'm trying to make sure I get it all. And I'm not the most, I'm not a carpenter, a contractor, or anything like that. That's just not my thing. And so I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just ripping it up, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So, yeah, so that's where we are. So, but it wasn't the weather, because a couple people texted me and says, hey, are you okay? Is the weather really bad? It wasn't the weather. It was something we had in the basement that, that we knew one day this would happen, and it did. We actually had the water heater go right when we put in the floor. When we put this floor, if you can believe it, when we put this floor in 13 years ago, 2 weeks after we got it done, the water heater went, and we lost half the basement. And so I had to call my buddy back, and we had to go find more of this stuff. Luckily, they still had it up in New Hampshire, so we had to match the color, and we had to do half the basement all over again because of the flood. This time, it's almost the same exact thing. In fact, I think this was worse. This was worse than when my water heater went because it took out more of the floor. And I don't really see this person anymore, so he can't fix it for me this time. So it's going to have to go with whatever. But, we didn't. Like I said, nothing electronic went. My computers are okay. Nothing get into my gaming stuff. I have all my stuff, the low gaming stuff, in plastic bins anyway. So it didn't fill up with water. It's just underneath, wrecked the floor. And again, you have to get the water out because if it sits and it starts to stink, and that's when it gets really, really bad. Fenner is stopping by. Hi, buddy. I wish I was playing a game tonight for you guys. Instead, I figured I'd come on and chat. Head's not in doing the gaming thing right now. It's really not, because it's outside. It is still raining. It's been like constant rain over here. Humidity's through the roof. Every time I walk outside, my glasses fog up just because of the humidity. So here I am downstairs, and it's humid down here because of all the water on the floor, and I'm lugging all the stuff into the garage. It's like I'm picking up the floorboard. They're about yay long. They're like 4 or 5 feet long, and I'm picking. I got like 30, 40, 50, 60 of these things. I'm going 5 at a time out to the garage. Oh, what a mess. But I probably saved myself a lot of money from having a demo crew come in here and do it, so that's good. But, I know people have it a lot worse than me. Mine it's just a floor, and it gets fixed. It's just when things are in, how it is, when things are in disarray, like if you've ever painted a room or put in a new floor or carpeting or something like that, everything's got to get out of the way so you can do it. And it's just when things are kind of stacked on top of each other, and you it's like when you first move into a house, you know what I mean? Or you're packing up to move. It's just everything's in disarray, nothing is settled, and that just brings out, anxiety in me, and it makes for a very stressful time. Excuse me 1 second while I have a drink here. I'm going with the grape tonight. See who else is in the chat room here. Rob, what do you got going on? You just lost all your wall-to-wall carpeting in the finished basement. 15 years no water till a bad storm. Yeah. We have spot rugs down here. Before we put in this floor, we had the back in, I want to say it was like 2005 or 2006, we had what was called a Mother's Day flood. And it was in Mother's Day, which is in May, right? And it just rained and rained and rained, and it just didn't stop raining, okay? And I remember I was supposed to go see my grandmother, who was still alive at the time. And I called, and my friend over here in the circle calls me up, and he says, can you come help me bail out my cellar? And I'm like, holy crap. So I called my grandmother and says, hey, I'm going to be a little bit late. My friend's cellar's flooding, right? And I go over there, and I'm in his cellar, and I'm looking at his bulkhead. Now, what the bulkhead is, it means if the cellar's in the ground, there's stairs that go up to the level, okay? It's called a bulkhead, or the cellar, if you will. So I'm standing in his cellar, looking at his stairs at a bulkhead, watching the water just come in like a waterfall. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and like, where's this water coming from? It had rained so much that spring that the water table had come up so high, it was just full. So everybody on the street got water in their cellar, and everyone's like, you can see them throwing out the carpets and some furniture, and he actually had someone come in and take out like 18 inches of the wall because it had gone up about 18 inches. So he got it bad. We didn't get any water. Now, again, this is before the floor. This is just when I had the tile and the cement here. We didn't get any water, but our rugs were wet. We had to throw out the rugs because it had seeped up through the cement. So we didn't have any standing water. We didn't have any puddles or pools. It wasn't coming in my bulkhead, but the table rose up so much that it soaked the carpet. So it's really crazy how this stuff can happen. And I do remember that my backyard slopes off, but it was creeping up. You could see the little lake coming up from the woods getting towards my house. So we're on a little bit of a crest here, so that's what saved us. But I was like, man, if this comes up any higher, we're in trouble. But just about everybody on my street had water in their cellar that year. We lucked out. So we lucked out with that, but this time it was something caused by us, and so we have to own that. But, yeah, when I see these people, I see the videos. You ever seen the videos when on the news or on YouTube or whatever, when people show them they got like 2 or 3 feet of water in their cellar and it's sloshing around? Oh, my gosh. That is terrible. It really does. It's so sad when you see that. So, but anyway, so that's what's going on around here. That's why I haven't seen any podcasts in a while. It's just been nothing but life getting in the way, and it's always bad news. But we're trying to come out of it. We really are. We're trying to, the dog's over here sleeping, sacked out right now. He seems better. The wife's kind of healing up from the gallbladder surgery. She had some other procedure too. She had some lipoma. They took out the same time. Like, hey, while we're in here, you want to take out this? So she's got like all these holes all over from all the things they took out of her yesterday. And then we have, what's really sucks is she's so sore that she could not help me. Not even the littlest thing. It's like, hey, could you just take this upstairs? She can't lift anything. So it was me all by myself, trying to get this squared away here so I didn't have to pay thousands of dollars to have someone come in and do it for me, So hopefully we get the tub out of here, and they can do the floor. They can put everything back. The good, again, if there's any little more silver lining to this, now that the tub's out of here, it's not a big tub, but I have the whole corner now that I'm going to set up my drums over where the tub was in the corner, a little further away from the bedroom, so I can probably play a little bit later at night, and I can set it up real nice. Maybe have a real nice backdrop. Maybe put a green backdrop so I could play and have a green screen going. Maybe. I don't know, something to think about. But I can actually set up my drums and put them off to the side instead of just have them sitting in here in the middle of the room. So I will have a nice little drum area when I'm done. Studio A, I'll set up again. Because we'll have a little bit more space now that we don't have that whole section, for that. But that is that. Bernard stopping by. Thanks for coming by. Drop D Murphy. Yeah, it does stink. It does stink when stuff gets wrecked, and it disrupts everything. It really does. But again, it's not a life-threatening thing. It's just an inconvenience, and it really stinks. Now, as far as what I've been playing, I am waiting to pick up Pro Strategy Football. Was it 24? That's due out any day. It might even be out now. I got to go check on that, okay? Because I was supposed to be, me and Ron are looking into that. And we're looking into, getting the mods for that and the whole bit, which I think are coming out this weekend. So it kind of works out that the mods aren't quite ready yet because I've been busy with this stuff anyway. But Pro Strategy Football I'm excited about. Football Mogul's out. So I want to get that and check out that too. They have the new season. That's the thing about Football Moguls. They have the current season. So it might be kind of fun to play the Jets, Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, Jets fans, but that's terrible. We could talk about that in a minute too. But so I'm kind of hoping that I can get the Football Mogul and play some of that. I think next week? This week or next week? I should be getting the Strat Hockey in and the Strat Hockey the PC game because I ordered that with the new season. So we got some Strat Hockey coming in. So I got all these new games coming in. So I really hope I can put everything back over here. In best case, maybe next week, end the next week, I can put everything back and have everything together and I can start playing again. Because I got all these new games coming out. And I did play something tonight. A funny conversation. Thank you, Murph. Yeah, we're all good. It's just, luckily it didn't hit any of my guitars or my drum set. Everything was underneath, It's not like we had an inch of water in here. It just went underneath, and once it's underneath, you got to lift it up to get it out. And I really wish I could just lift it up and dry it and then put it back, but that's not how it works. It was so bad near the tub, okay, that we would walk, and when we walked, the water would come squirting up between the grooves. That's how much water we had. And I'm like, oh, maybe if I walk enough, I could get all the water up and dry. No, it's not how it works. If you're stepping on the wooden floor and water's coming up, it's everywhere. It is. But you just gotta roll with it. Years ago, I'd be losing my mind. If I was my 40s, I'd be losing my mind at this because I was really anxious back in the day. But now I'm calming myself down. It's just a floor. It's just a floor. And we'll get it fixed, I did play something tonight, and so the funny conversation, getting back to that I had with Ron, because I was like, Football Mogul's fun because you can do the draft. And then I said, but I saw Al was playing 2nd and 10, and he was playing a draft season, and he drafted some guys and blah, 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 blah. And Ron's like, yeah, we did that one night. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, me and you ran through a 2nd and 10 draft. I was like, get out of here. We never did a 2nd and 10 draft. He's like, I'm telling you, we did a 2nd and 10 draft. And I'm like, well, no, you sure that wasn't Football Mogul? Because I know Football Mogul, I did the draft, and I don't know if there's something else I did a draft. And he's like, nope. He goes, you did 2nd and 10. And so I went in tonight, and I opened 2nd and 10 up, and I went in and it's like, yep, I did a 1981 draft season. He was exactly right. We did it. But he did say that I enjoyed some of the draft, but I wasn't having fun. Excuse me. He said I wasn't having fun playing the game with the draft people. And so I went in tonight and I set up a 1984 draft. And I picked as the Houston Oilers, and I was having fun. I picked, I think I went with Marino. It was either Marino or Joe Montana, but I think I went Marino. Got a couple decent receivers and running backs, and then I started to pick my offensive line. I kind of spread it around is what I did. And so I got done. I picked probably 20 guys, and then I put it on auto to finish the rest, just to fill my team up. So then I went in and started playing. It was the Raiders at the Oilers. So I went in and started playing it. And yeah, it wasn't that fun. I don't know why. 2nd and 10 is a fun game, but the draft didn't. The draft part of it did not grab me. It just didn't. I don't know what it is. I've done some draft leagues before, and I've had some fun with them. But this is not one. So for the second time tonight, for the second time with 2nd and 10, I tried a draft league, and it didn't work for me. It just, it worked functionally, but emotionally, I was disconnected to it. So I think when I play 2nd and 10, I have to play the actual team and a team that I know, so I can know all the players. And Football Mogul, I don't know why that seemed to be a little bit better. And I'm wondering if 2nd and 10 will have a draft. I don't know if they do. I don't do a lot of draft stuff, but lately I have been, and I've had some fun with some of the things here. I think I did a draft. Was it Action PC? I tried to do a draft in. Oh, that was another game I tried to do a draft in, and it was kind of fun. But for some reason, the 2nd and 10, I don't know why. It's the second time I tried to draft a 2nd and 10. And I don't know. Maybe I'd have to go back to it again. But for some reason, it didn't really quite work. And oh boy, world's worst gamer. His kitchen floor is sinking from water damage. He waded through the crap and the mess and squashed. Yeah, hopefully never experience that again. Yeah, yeah. Oh, but he did clean it up with one rag and a bucket. Good for him. Good for him. Yeah, it really stinks. Fire and water damage, terrible. They really do. You know, I don't know which one's worse. Well, fire destroys everything. It's burnt up. But the water stuff, depending what it is, sometimes it can survive. Like you can drop your phone in water, and theoretically you can be okay. But if your phone goes into a fire, it's not. you know. But either way, it kind of stinks. But so all right, so that's what I played. I played tonight. I tried to play 2nd and 10 with the draft. It was fun doing the draft. I think I like how they do it. I forget what draft I did. I don't remember what game it was. I tried to do the football mogul draft, and I didn't care for what it was. Oh, do you know who has the best draft, fantasy draft? Is Franchise Hockey Manager. That is the best. If you do Franchise Hockey Manager and you do a draft, that is the best because you can click on your team, you can see what you got, you can see what you need, you can ask for help. The Franchise Hockey Manager draft is by far the best drafting mechanics I've seen. But I did a football game one time, and I forget which one it was. Maybe it was Action PC. And I was picking my team, and I like when you can pick your team, then click on it to see what you got. And okay, what do I need? Okay, so I got a quarterback running. I usually go quarterback, running back, receiver. And then from there, I start looking around at, maybe a tight end or offensive line because you want to protect the quarterback and get some good blocking. But then you got to start thinking about defense too. So it's like, there's 11 positions on each side of the ball. So there's 22 positions you got to think about filling. And it's like, which order do you go, And if there was one I did that I did have some fun with, and I was enjoying watching them play. It's like, oh, this is kind of neat that I have this guy in a team and this guy in a team, and I was having fun with it. And I forget which game that was, but I don't think it was 2nd and 10. For some reason, that just wasn't working for me. I used to drink that back in the day. I really did. I kind of liked it. The Genuine Draft was good, but I haven't done that I haven't even had a beer. I should have had a beer tonight. I was actually talking to someone about that tonight. There's somebody I know that really drank a lot, and they finally got cleaned up and not drinking. It's like good for them. It's like it's so easy to just grab a beer and then 10 beers and then So I don't want to do that. Mungo Jerry stopping by. Gary stopping by. And Bernie says, I can't get in the games with either fictional players or draft teams. Not sure why, but just no interest. I can. But it's got to be the right situation. If I'm I love the hockey drafts. Franchise Hockey Manager, and you've heard me talk about this before. How many times do I say the fantasy draft and Franchise Hockey Manager is the game within the game? I could pick my team, and I don't even worry about anything else. I'll just sim the season and see how I do, and then do it all over again, because just picking your team is just a blast, and seeing how you did picking the teams, that is really kind of fun. What game? I might have been Football Mogul, and I think I just sim the season and see how my guys did. Maybe it was Action P. I forget. I'll have to go find out. When I play it and I see it, it's like, oh yeah, that's what I remember what it was. I do like picking my teams once in a while. I really do. I really do like sitting there and which quarterback do I want, which running back, and see how I did. I do. I think that's fun. But the hockey one is, I think, the best. As far as fictional goes, sometimes that can be fun. But that you really got to buy into that, because you can't just kind of do a one-off with a fictional. That just makes no sense. So, I mean, if you're going to do something fictional, you really got to like the game, and you really got to buy into the fictional universe, and then that's your thing. What was fun, I think the most fun I had with fictional was the Stone Cold Hockey, when they had their little setup. Was it 6 or 8 teams they had with Stone Cold Hockey, with all fictional players? That was kind of fun. Because it's just, who are these teams? And there was a whole little pamphlet with the league and all the teams and the struggles that some teams had and how some teams did well. It really did. You could buy into that little league, that 6 or 8 team league. You can buy into that and feel what those teams are going through. And so that was one fictional thing that I did kind of enjoy. I did. So I can get into both fictional and draft depending on the situation is really what it is. And Ron Layout's heading to bed. Yep. Yeah, I ended up just working here all day, Ray, just cleaning up myself. More than half the floor went. By the time I found, I can't, mostly, it's not 100% dry, but I took a yardstick and I was sliding underneath, and I felt a little bit of moisture, but it wasn't wet. So I lifted it up, and I'm going to dry it, and I'm hoping that's the end of it. But I lost more than half my floor. Again, it's just a floor, just a butt still. And JT Dutch says, yeah, he's not a big fan of fictional or fantasy draft. Although Gary says that's the only way he plays. He likes all fictional, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you enjoy. And I can see both. I can see how you could do both. Mungo Jerry says, nice video with both Ultra Quick and Final Score Football. He loves them both. Ultra Quick get weird scored wise. Yes, and that's why I did the video. Because I think Ron picked it up. He goes, I wanted to get Ultra Quick Football because I wanted to get stats. But you don't get stats with Ultra Quick Football. It's just the final score. I like Ultra Quick Football because it's ultra quick. It's faster than Final Score because it's just you get your score and that's it. Final Score, I think you get the 4 quarters. Whereas Ultra Quick, you kind of get your final score and that's it. So Ultra Quick is so much faster because you just got, okay, here's the rating, here's your final, roll the dice, do you add or subtract from it, you're done. And it was simple. It's so simple. You can play a game faster than Final Score. However, though, if you look at like the average team score was probably 16 or 17 points, let's say. So your score should be 17-17 or something like that. Well, with Ultra Quick, you start off with a base score. So let's just say that your team averaged 18 points. Well, your base starting score is 15. Then you factor in the other team's defense. So now maybe you're down to 11. So your base points are 11. And then you roll the dice. And if you get anything under 50, you're not adding to that 11. So the scores were coming in super low, at least in the half dozen or so games I played, and I might have played a few more than that. I was rolling dice, because again, the setup is so quick. You just like boom, 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 and now you just roll the dice. And again, if you roll low, you subtract. If you roll high, then you add. So you might add 7 or 10 or 14 or even 21. The most you can add is 21. But again, you got to roll in the 60s for that. So if you roll anything, if you roll the 11s, the 20s, or the 30s, you're subtracting. Even all the way up to 50, it's a 0. So you start off, your base is less than your average points. Then you subtract the defense. Now you're even worse. So even if you added 7 to your score, if you rolled a 60 or, not a 60, I forget if it was 11 to 66 or 0 to 100. So I forget what Ultra Quick was. I think it might have been 0 to 100. So if you were rolling, even if you rolled a 60 or 65 and added 7 points, you're still far below your average point total. So Ultra Quick was coming in ridiculously low, at least in the 2 seasons that I played. I picked up I picked up Decades, and I think I tried 78 and 88. And I played a handful of games, and I'm like, holy cow, these are coming in way, way too low. And the other thing about Ultra Quick was, I had Tampa Bay play Pittsburgh, so they started off like negative 23 or whatever it was. So I don't even think they could get to 0. Even if they rolled the 21, add 21, they would have a hard time getting more than a couple of points against Pittsburgh, which is fine. That's how it should be. But you end up with a negative number. So I guess you would round up to 0, so they would get, you would have to, right? But it's still, there was a couple games that I got like 4 points, 5 points, 2 points. So that's what happens when you play one of those things. You have your base and you add a subtract to it, and you don't get a football number is what you don't get. Final Score, because you're rolling off the chart, it's a lot of 0, 6, 3s and 7s in 14. So they're all football scores. There is a safety. I think if you roll an 11, you get a safety. Is kind of how it is. But you get football scores for the most part with Final Score football. Ultra Quick, you can get weird stuff. So it's too bad because Ultra Quick plays so fast. But Final Score, I think, is the better game. And Dave Little comes by. Dave, when are we going to see basketball back on the channel on Friday nights? I'm going into my busy season, and Friday nights I like to kick back and watch some basketball. So hopefully we'll get that. Bernie here. Ultimately, this is a solo hobby. We should all play the way we like. Yeah, and that's what we did. We did a whole show. We did a whole show on why you get mad, basically, when how someone else plays, and you got to get on there and type away that you're a bad person because, and I had that when I first started. The first thing I did is I love Reggie Jackson, and I would put Reggie Jackson on the Red Sox, right? I think I would trade him for Bernie Cabo. So at least I had to, I had to trade that. And, my story was Reggie had a falling out with the Yankees, and he went to the Red Sox to spite him, right? Holy cow, when I posted that would never happen. What are you doing? Why are you playing that way? That is so wrong. It's so unbelievable. Jeepers, you would think that I went to the guy's house and made him play that way. It's like I stuck him in a corner and said, I'm going to hit you with a cattle prod unless you play with Reggie Jackson on the Yankees. On the Red Sox. I just wanted to play and have some fun, and holy cow, you can't have fun with some people. Not in your game. So we did a whole show on, what is the deal? Really. Ed, good to see Ed in here. We had Ed on the show a few weeks ago, so go check out his channel there. Oh, Ed, I don't know if you caught this, my basement had a water problem. Yeah, so I lost half my floor, just the floor. But unfortunately, my electronic drums are over here next to me, slammed against the wall behind two couches. So I won't be playing drums until I get my floor fixed, which I hope, if all goes well, next week. So I haven't been able to play any kind of drums at all. And I haven't played drums in about a week because I've just been busy, but now I can't. But hopefully when I'm done, I'm going to have a nice new drumming area. And I'm going to maybe put a green screen behind it so I can kind of do some cool videos. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put my Rush poster behind me. I have Rush and I have Spinal Tap. That'd be a good 1-2 combination right behind me. But Ed says, anyway, distinct kicking motion, my fictional player game of choice is Deadball. I didn't realize Deadball had a detailed player creation system. That is it. I did not know that. And I guess I learned something today. I've never played the Deadball. I've heard of it, but I haven't played it. But I didn't know they had the detailed player creation. That's very interesting. And Dave Little says, soon he hopes, still committed to the babysitting gig, but that might be winding down soon. Okay. JT, I can't imagine getting mad about how someone else will play a game if that game is involving me. Well, it happened, JT. It does. And if you've ever been on, Facebook or Delphi, people go back and forth and argue all the time. And, and they argue about games too. And that's all right. You play a game and you're not a big fan. It's just, And he says, as for Reggie Jackson, I think certain Red Sox fans tend to get a bit irrational about that guy. And I can't say I blame him too much. Yep. Yeah, maybe don't put Spinal Tap posts behind the drums. Okay. There you go. All right, where is it? Yeah, I got to give you that one. That was pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't quite think of that. Yeah, so no, Spinal Tap will stay off to the side, Although Neil Peart, sadly, that could be a problem too. But yeah, there was, like I say, people that argue about, this game, that game. Just like we always say, play the game you like, play it the way that you want it. You make it have fun, And if you want to cheat so your team wins every single game, go ahead. If that's what gives you joy, go ahead. It doesn't matter to anybody else. The only time that comes into play is if you're playing with other people. Then it becomes a problem. But if you're playing by yourself, come on. We've all played, I think a lot of us have played video games, and we crank our skill up to 99, and we beat the crap out of the other team 100-0, and that's how we have our fun. That's just what it is, So do it your way. But again, when you're playing in a league with other people, I was reading something about a league, and I don't know if it was baseball or football, whatever it was, and the guy that would send in his scores and his team won every game, never lost. And it's yeah, what are the chances of that happening? So you start to really question about what did happen with that. That's a little shady. It really is. David Cease says, so many great channels represented in this channel. Thanks everyone for creating such great content for us. Yes, and we have a lot of great content creators. We do. I haven't checked out Marco's new thing. He's doing a lot of sports talk right now because he's going through some things that he can't really quite play and set up his gaming. So he's doing this sports stuff. So I want to see how he does. I haven't checked out his latest video yet, but he's supposed to be doing like predictions and probably a lot of football stuff, I would imagine right now, but maybe baseball playoffs or something like that. So I want to see how he does. And I told him, I said, if you pick him, if you're going really bad and you're picking wrong, I am going to give you some crap. So just so Marco's a heads up, he is going to get crap if he starts picking really bad. That's why I don't do these things, because I'm terrible. I cannot pick football teams for the life of me. I would have put my house on the Kansas City Chiefs opening day against the Detroit Lions, and this flood in my basement would be somebody else's problem because they would own my house, because I would have lost that bet. And I wonder how many people lost their suicide pool with that Detroit Lion Kansas City game, because you're thinking, Lions at the Chiefs. Chiefs have been to the AFC Championship game 37 times in a row. Mahomes. How do the Lions go on the road and beat the Chiefs? There's no way. There's no way. And so I imagine a lot of people are out of their pools because of that one game right there. Thomas stopping by. Thanks for coming by. And Frank says, hey, Dave, I'm playing Replay Baseball 1993 Cards and Dice. I am picking a game of the day using the quick result charts for the other games, and it's a blast. Yes, it is when you do that. Yes, it is. I have Replay Baseball PC. I do have the PDF version. I was gifted a version of that. And I printed out a couple of teams, and I did enjoy it. At some point, I do want to order the physical game so I can have their charts, because I printed out the charts, but their charts are better than what I can print. And I want to get a season so I can have some of the cards here, because I did okay learning Replay Baseball. The only problem I had with it was I was playing on the computer. Okay, so I had the cards that I printed. I had the two teams that I printed out, and I had my charts, and I would roll the dice, and I would follow along on the charts to see if I could get it right. And that's what I love about playing a game that also has a computer version. So you can try to, what you can try to do is follow along and see if you're right. And I like being right. I like to make sure that I'm playing the game correctly and following along, okay? And I was getting different results, and it was driving me nuts. And I was like, okay, why is this not a ground to short? Why is it a ground to second? And why is this not this? Why is this? Well, come to find out, I guess in the computer game, there's a checkbox that you need to check or uncheck so you play it true to the cards and dice game, because some of the charts are changed in the PC game. Not sure why they would do that, but they must have their reasons. And so I need to go back again and try to play that with that option check to make sure that I'm reading the charts correctly, because, I thought it was a great tool. It's like, okay, I'm going to try to read this along and put it in. What does the computer say? Hey, I got it right. But I wasn't getting it right. And I was getting it wrong enough times that I gave up. But when I found that out, I felt a little bit better. So now I'll go back and try it again at some point. But I did like the Replay Baseball. I do like the PC version. I really do. And was it a year or two ago? I had those great Fred Lynn 666 walk-offs live here on the channel, rolling my own dice. The dice were going down the chute. They come out 666. That's a home run, Freddie Lynn. Sox win. And I remember laughing. It's like, I didn't cheat. You guys saw me. Dice rolled. They come out. There it is, So had some fun with that. Noble coming by. Noble says, quick play games are a great way to play a whole season. I play the Cubs schedule and quick play all the other games in the season. Yes, they are. Quick play games have their thing. I've done some quick play products where I will play one particular team and play them all the way through. I've done that with football a few times. I did the Cleveland Spiders. I used Downey Ultra Quick Baseball, I think it was. I did the Cleveland Spiders, and they got destroyed. They didn't get close to 20 wins. How that worked out is they were rated so bad that the other team on an 11 to 66 roll, the other team really needed to roll 11 and 12, and the Spiders needed to get 65 or 66 to win the game. The only way they could win is if it was that each dice roll was on that end of the spectrum. And either that or if they got the BG roll and got a big game. They did get one game where they got the BG roll and they rolled and they got like 7 runs, and that was good enough for a win. So, but aside from that, they did not win any games in ultra quick baseball. And I think that's kind of one of the flaws of quick play games is sometimes if you get a team like that, they just have no chance. And even though they won 20 games, it's like, how are you going to get them that 20? You know, really, with this current setup, I don't think you can get them 20. I think they were rated much too low, even though, again, they were 20 and whatever, 110 or whatever it was. But I still think they were rated so low that they had a hard time winning more than 10. And Uncle Jerry says, with quick play games, for the most part, there are ways of getting stats after you roll the games. Sometimes that's fun. Ron was playing... What was he playing? He picked up a football game. Momentum. I think he grabbed Momentum Football, okay? And he grabbed a couple of seasons, and he was playing a game of Momentum Football. And with that game, you can tack on... I think it is Momentum Football. You can tack on the stats, okay? Because it's basically a drive-by-drive game. But when you're done, you see the score, you see how many possessions, you roll the dice, and you can factor in the stats. Now, he did a whole video on it. Unfortunately, he forgot to change the camera. So you didn't see anything he did. You could just see him kind of calculating it all. But instead of seeing the screen, you saw him, so he didn't post a video or something like that. But it took almost longer to do the stats than it did to play the game. But you could do it. And I think he said his stats were pretty good when he got done. So that was kind of neat with that. And where are we now? Oh, here's Matt. Matt says, missed the pro. Oh, you missed the Pro Strat Football Nightly Stream. Yeah, those are good. The Pro Strategy Football game. That was great. I wanted to start up another one, and I had a couple of people convince me not to because the new game was coming out. So it would have taken me, what did that take me, a week and a half, something like that, 2 weeks to do that project, just doing a game a night or something like that. So I would play 16 games and then the playoffs. And I think I did a couple of double headers or an afternoon and a night game. So I really kind of flew through that project. That was pretty fun. But people told me not to. People said, don't pick up don't do it until the new game comes out in 10 days. So I probably could have squeezed out another season, but considering everything I went through over the last week, yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't because I'm just dealing with so many household issues right now and still ripping up my floor and cleaning out the stuff in the basement until I can put it all back and be settled. Then I'll play again. So maybe it's kind of good timing that I won't be playing the new football game till this weekend. But once things are back to normal, or maybe even before that, maybe if I can at least get the ball rolling down here and get some of the stuff cleaned up and looking a little bit better, so I'm not so full of anxiety, that I can start getting back to normal with some gaming stuff. But when the new game comes out, I gotta put in the mods, learn how everything goes, and then once I get up to speed, we'll do another project. Absolutely sure. I've already picked out my season. I'm not gonna say what it is. I've already picked out my season that I'm gonna do. And it's something a little bit out of my comfort zone. I will say it's a little out of my comfort zone. Not too much, but a little out of my comfort zone. But I do have my season picked out that I will be doing with that again. Kenny, I don't know if I did anything with Mean Gene. I think I might have done a quick video on that. That's one game that it's another long time to play. I think I liked it. There was 3 or 4 Downey games. There's Fast Action Football, which I do really like. And then was it Goal? And then there was Mean Gene. And then there was another one. I think there was 3 or 4. Let me go to the Downey website. Hang on a sec. And there was some that I liked, and there was some I absolutely didn't. So let me go to the Downey website. And let's go to the football games. And I'll tell you which ones that I played. And I probably won't go back and do a Mean Gene for quite some time. All right, so as far as the full play, Gridiron Wars. That's the one that I ended up creating my own charts for Gridiron Wars. Not a terrible game, but just there was a lot going on. And, I think it was one of these things where it's just, you give the handoff to the running back, you check the defense, that'll knock a couple points off. Now you got to recalibrate this. There was just a lot going on with Gridiron Wars that I found it to be not fun. Fast action football, I feel, is the best full play game. It's the simplest, I think. And I've played more fast action football from Downey than any of the other Downey games. Goal football, I think I was completely lost. I think they sent there was two versions. There's the original version and then the updated version, and I didn't like either one of them. Just myself, that's just me, not caring for it. And Mean Gene's matchup football, I thought Mean Gene's matchup football was okay. I thought Mean Gene's was okay. I just never get into it. It didn't grab me. Maybe I need to go back and try it again. But sometimes those play-by-play football games, they're going to take you an hour and a half, sometimes 2.5 hours to play. Fast action football moved pretty quick. It really did. But the only thing with fast action football is all those cards that you flip. I mean, for a punt, you were flipping 7 or 8 times for a punt. And then you have to remember to check for penalties every time, and remember to check for this and check for that. Most plays were fine. You flip it. Okay, is it a run or a pass? Who's it going to go to? What's the play result? And you're done. And so that was kind of fun there. David C. says he plays Gridiron Wars from Downey and he enjoys it. It was okay, but to me, I mean, I think there was the basic version of the game, you didn't factor in the defense, and that made it go a little quicker because it wasn't like, okay, I have a running back that's a 4. Let me check the defense. Oh, now the running back's a 2. Now let me flip my card and check on that. No, there was a lot of calculations going on before every play, and I think that's what kind of turned me off about that game, at least at the time. I've gone back to games, and it's like, why don't I play this game? And I don't know if you guys have ever done that. Have you guys ever, had a game, played it, and maybe it wasn't your thing, or maybe whatever, and then somebody talks about it, and you're like, geez, I have that game. I think I have that game. And then you go back in to the, and you pull it out, and you read it, and whatever, and then sometimes it's like, wow, why didn't I like that game? This is pretty good. And other times you start playing, and you're like, oh, this is why I don't play this game. And I've done that a couple of times. I pulled out some games in the past, and I set it up, and I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be great. And then it boom, it all comes back to me, and it's like, yep, this is why I don't play this game, because of this thing right here. I don't like this. And I've had that happen. So sometimes you go back, and it's like, this is great. And other times you go back, and like, yeah, that's why this is kind of sitting in the folder here and doesn't see much action here. So it does happen there. But anyway. But, so all right, before I sign off, so what do you guys been playing? Let's open this up to the chat room and see what you guys have been playing. So like I said, I haven't been playing much. I'm waiting for the new Pro Strategy Football. I'm hoping to pick up Football Mogul so I can try out that. The Strat Hockey comes out, should be next week, so I'm kind of hoping I can get the PC version going. I even got the cards version, even though I don't play a lot of Strats with the cards, but I think it was such a deal to buy the package with the PC, and then the cards, and the PC game with the image, with the cards, and the extra cards was like a ridiculous deal. It's like, oh, how do you not just pick up that whole thing? So I did. So I'll have the cards for that season. I still haven't picked up the APA season for that yet. We'll see if I want to do anything with APA as far as that goes, as far as the new season. I don't usually play new seasons, but because the Bruins were so good, and it might be fun to play that take Vegas and have them play Edmonton, or Edmonton play Florida, or Edmonton play Boston. There was a lot of good teams that I thought would be fun to do a what-if Stanley Cup. I really do. Alrighty, so Michael C. is playing History Maker Baseball, and he just got Dice Nuts Baseball. Did that just come out? I have Dice Nuts Hockey, and I haven't done much with it. It's kind of a pass-by-pass type of game with a lot of figuring in that. It's like, okay, Esposito has the puck roll the dice. He's going to try to pass the Orr, but you got to check the left wing of the Rangers, look at the chart, subtract the defense of that guy. There was a lot of calculations going on for Dice Nuts Hockey that on my initial thought was it just kind of took me out of the immersion of it because I'm doing too much math and thinking of the game to really enjoy it. But again, maybe if I gave it another try and got quicker at it, it would be better. I have the Dice Nuts Golf. I do like Dice Nuts Golf. I think it's kind of a more basic golf game, whereas you tee off and you have, what is it, 3 or 4 or 5 places the ball can go. So you're not spraying it, it's not like, well, I'm going to hit it to the right. It's like it can go here, 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 or here. So you roll the dice and see where you go. And then depending where you end up, you roll the dice again, and sometimes you add to the number, sometimes you subtract to the number, and I forget which is better, higher or lower. And then that shows you where it's going to go on the next section. So you have all these little places where the ball could end up, sand traps, water, green, fringe, all that stuff there. So the better your first shot in dice roll, the better chances that your second shot will be better. But Dice Nuts Golf was kind of fun. But I haven't played the baseball yet. I'm interested in checking out Dice Nuts Baseball. Matt says, I just assembled a 10-team league in Mean Gene football, funny enough. Oh, that's kind of good. 1990 NFL season. Hasn't started yet, but I'm wondering if 10 teams is too much for a game that takes 1 to 2 hours each. Well, maybe. It depends how many hours a day you can play. I find that, like Ron called me Golden Corral guy, I like to bounce around between my games and my seasons. I'll see something, I want to play that. And if I'm involved in a huge, long project, I feel like I'm missing something. So I don't try to do too many long projects. I have so many things here that are on the back burner that, like I started to play 78 Red Sox with Appa, all behind the scenes, haven't streamed anything, just playing it on Digital Diamond, just playing as the Red Sox. And I whipped through like 7 games in a few days. I was having a blast. And then I went on to something else, so that season's on hold. So, yeah, as far as you got to know yourself. And I know myself that things come up, and I just don't have the time or the attention span, actually, to do a super huge, long project with either a team or a couple of teams or whatever it is, or every team. So I like to do the shorter ones. That Pro Strategy Football, a week or two, perfect. Some of the other things, a week or two, a month, perfect. Once I start looking into months or even a year for a project, I just know myself I'm not going to finish it. That's just what I know, is what it is. Oh, Michael says that, Dice Nuts only has a 73 season. So it is somewhat kind of new, Let's see, the World's Worst Game, it said Lefty O'Doul hit a walk-off home run to win his 33 Giants pennant. And Action PC Baseball 23. Mungo Jerry says, doing unnecessary math is the worst. Yeah, sometimes it flows. Like when I play like Hockey Bones or Appa Hockey, I could do the math pretty quick, especially with the Hockey Bones. Because the way I lay out my cards, if the right wing has the puck and he's got to do a defensive check, he's going up against the left side in the center. I could do that math really quick, Okay, roll the dice. It's a 9. I got a 5, a 3, and a 1. That's a 9. No, yes, he does pass the check, or he doesn't pass the check. So sometimes I can whiz through the math. Other times, what I don't like is adjusting every single time. That's what I'm not a fan of. So it's like you roll the dice, or flip a card, you check something, and then you check something else, and now, so you look at the chart, and instead of being a 4-8, the defense makes it a 2-8. So you're always adjusting. So there's always all this extra things you got to do before you get to the chart. The beauty of Appa is you roll the dice, you get a number, you go to the chart, you're done. Picture if you went to Appa, you roll the dice. Oh, I got a 23. Well, no, it's not a 23. It's really going to be a 21. And you got to remember all that. That can be really frustrating. It really can. Let's see. Ed says, Dead Ball is his next episode. He's about to go back to Strat Hockey. Okay. The only reason, one of the reasons I don't play Strat Hockey too much is A, the cards are just too big for me to fit on my table. So I actually have to have them like standing up in little stands. And it's just kind of weird. Whereas Hockey Bones and Appa, and even Hockey Blast, if you will, I can lay them on the table, and everything's right here. It really is. The Strat, I have not found a good layout to play Strat hockey with the cards and dice. The other things about Strat is you make decisions in Strat. So it's great head-to-head, but when you're by yourself, do I pass? Do I skate? Do I shoot? Do I try to penetrate? And then do I try to intimidate? I mean, so you're playing against each other, making decisions. And for me, that makes it kind of hard to play because I'm playing against myself. And I got to try to think for both teams, which I do a lot anyway, but I find there's a lot, who gets the loose puck and why. And so sometimes I like making those decisions, but other times I like it when the game tells me where it goes because then I can't, cheat, even unintentionally, Oh, it's a loose puck. Well, if I don't like the team, I'm going to give it to the worst guy. Just unconsciously, maybe I would, just because I don't like them. So the Strat hockey, I find the cards are a little too big for me. And because of all the decisions in the game, I've had time. And the power play trips me up. I got a little bit better at it, but I haven't. It's like a mini game. It's a game within the game. And whereas Hockey Bones and APA, you just play the same game a man down and just use a different chart or different whatever. I just think that works better for me. Gary says other recommended fast play hockey and basketball games along the lines of fast action football. Fast action football is not a fast play game. Okay, I don't know if maybe I screwed up when I said that. So fast action football is play by play. It's going to take you an hour and a half. Okay, it's pretty simple to play, but it's going to take you an hour and a half. So if you're looking for a fast play, depends how fast you want it. The Downey games are kind of the way to go if you want fast. The Mike Sealock games, if you checked out the Mike Sealock 2-minute drill, that's a really fun football game. It really is. It's so easy. You just get a first half number, a second half number, and you add them up and you're done. And I think I played through a season with that one, and I had a blast. I had a blast with the Mike Sealock football game, let me tell you. All right, so he says he's thinking of another game, but he wants a quick game. Like I said, the Downey final score. If you look for hockey, there's a couple options. Downey final score hockey. I like that because if the game is tied or if it's a one-goal game, you have this thing called the pressure roll, and that gives you a chance to tie it up or win the game with a pressure roll. So that's kind of fun. The Ultra Quick doesn't have the pressure roll, but it does factor in the goalie ratings. So instead of just a standard generic defensive rating, depending who you play in net, that could go up or down with the goalie. And with Ultra Quick Hockey, you get all the stats. Okay? But you don't have the pressure roll, and it's a lot more expensive because with the final score, I think it's $5 or $8 for a decade, maybe $10 for a decade. But when you go to Ultra Quick, because you're getting all the teams with all the players, I think it's going to be $7 or $8 a season, or $5 a season. So, but you get all the stats with Ultra Quick. So Ultra Quick Hockey, final score hockey from Downey, Shootout EZ. If you have Shootout Hockey, they have a free quick play version called Shootout EZ, where you roll that you kind of set it up the same way. So you the offense versus defense is going to give you a number, and then you roll the dice per period to see how many goals you get per period. And that plays in 1 minute. I time myself. From the time I set it up to 6 dice rolls, it's like 1 minute and 5 seconds. So Shootout EZ from Shootout Hockey is another option. I'm trying to think if there's any more quick play hockey games. No, it's mostly just the Downey stuff, I think. And as far as the football, again, you get the Ultra Quick Football, the Final Score Football. I recommend the Final Score Football for that. As far as baseball goes, I did play Ultra Quick Baseball, but that's all I've really played. And obviously, Roberto Chavini has a bunch of games. I was playing there. I think it was a new hockey game they had out that I was playing that was kind of fun. And I did a video on that as well. I think it was just a couple weeks ago I did the video for the new Roberto Chavini hockey game. I forget what it was called. Was it Chase the Cup or something like that? Oh, let me see here. Race for the Cup by Roberto Chavini. I did that on September 3rd. That was an enjoyable game. race for the cup. It was and it's just playoff teams too. So if your team didn't make the playoffs, then it's not in there. So it's only the playoff teams, and that was kind of different because a lot of times it's like, well, put whoever you want in the playoffs. You want to make this guy in there, see how he does. That's fine. Or this team, but no, just the playoff teams are rated. So that's the first time I've ever seen that in a game. Arnold says, he was back up here. He's doing a 40 fighter welterweight tournament in Glory Days boxing. So people love that game, Arnold. They really do. I'm not a huge boxing guy. I know Al likes it, and a few other guys like it. I'll watch him play it. But 40 fighters. So is that like a one and done type of thing? So if you lose, you're out, or is there a second chance pool or something like that? It says that's why he probably likes to play Strat in basic mode, less thinking, more chaos. Yeah, I find when I play Strat hockey, I like the advanced mode. It's just enough more than basic. Basic is, I find, real basic, and I found the jump from basic to advanced was not that difficult, but you do got to make a lot of decisions. You do, and I haven't played the basic in a while, but I did find that I did like the advanced. Super advanced, not so much, but I did like just like the baseball. Strat baseball, I love Strat basic baseball. In fact, I think I ordered another season with my hockey. It hasn't arrived yet because they're probably going to ship them all together, but I should be getting a baseball season. I love Strat basic baseball. It works for me. It really, really does. Oh boy, we're back to Fenner's 1980 Chargers. Hang on a second, I need a drink before I read this. Got my sparkling grape tonight is what I got. Nice and cold. All right, so his 1980 Chargers did not win the Super Bowl, but lost it on... Oh, no. I lost it on the last drive to the Detroit Lions. Is there any worse way to lose a Super Bowl than to the Detroit Lions? Sorry. But the Lions were decent in 80. They really were. They were good. I got to say that. And now he's the 2013 Seahawks in Pro Strategy Football. Yeah. What I love to do a lot of times is do the game of the weeks. In fact, I need to get back to 1979. I need to finish that season in Digital Diamond because I was playing it with Strat and season ticket baseball and pocket pennant run. I had 3 or 4, and even Back to Basics baseball. That's a fun game. Back to Basics baseball is a fun game from Downey. That's another one I forgot to talk about. So I've done both of those. But I need to get back and finish my 79 season because I think I'm into late August or early September. So I need to do that and then do my playoffs and wrap up that project, But at some point I will. Noble says finishing up his 2023 Cubs season with Status Pro and finishing up a 1969 Cubs season. So he likes his Cubs. That's kind of cool. I like playing the Status Pro and Digital Diamond. I really do. You can tell it's an older game just by how it's done. But I do like it. I do like the Status Pro. I've enjoyed it immensely. Brian's stopping by. Thanks for coming by, Brian. I see the Royals in your picture here. So you love the Royals banner? Yeah, there it is over there, right behind me. The Royals banner. I could probably tip it up a little bit so you can see the tippity top. But there you go. Yeah, I like to. I gotta change my band. I haven't been on in a while. Usually I rotate these. Every now and then I'll go on eBay. I'll be at night. I'll get on my phone, and I'll go on eBay and see what they got for pennants. And I just like find these. Sometimes I'll find them like $5 or $10 with free shipping. It's like, take it. I don't care what team it is, so I can just kind of keep rotating the background behind me is what I like to do. But anyway. All right, well, folks, I think I'm going to wrap up here. This has been a long day. Like I said, I've spent 3 or 4 hours down here cleaning up the water mess. And if you've ever had water in your house, in your cellar, on the floor, it's a disaster. It's a mess. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I'm hoping no less than 2 weeks that I can get everything kind of put back together down here to where things are normal again, and I can set up and I can play my games and get back here streaming because I got busy season starting in 3 weeks. I'm off. I'm heading to New Hampshire 3 or 4 times a week to do my play-by-play broadcasting for that junior team. So that's coming up in a hurry. And once that hits, then I'll have less time for gaming. But so I'd like to get in some gaming, but unfortunately I've had a little setback here. And so that's where we are right now. But anyway, thanks for coming by. I figured I'd come on and say hi, chat with you guys, let you know what's going on here. We're hoping Friday to do a podcast. Ron's been bugging me to do one, but again, I've been down here just cleaning up and being miserable. I says I'm not in any mood to podcast because then I'm tired. I'm old, so when I start, 3 or 4 hours of hard labor down here, lifting up things and going up and down the stairs and throwing stuff away, and some of the stuff's heavy. I'm pretty tired. I'm not in the mood to put on a show, but hopefully Friday will be the day, and maybe then I'll get that big tub out of here and some of the other junk, and I'll feel so much better about things because that'll be halfway to what I need to get done. And I get my drums back, and I get my playing back, and I can get back to having some fun. Yeah, and thanks to the wife should be getting better. Yeah, and the dog too. They're both sacked out right now, so boy. Yeah, it's just been a fun time over here. So thank you, Matt. And what's Noble going to say? Strata's best head-to-head. Yeah, solos. Some of those games are kind of tough. When you're playing the head-to-head. Making decisions is great head-to-head. When you got to make them for both teams, it's kind of tough. And I do have a little cheat sheet that I use when I play Strat Hockey Advanced, so I can roll the dice, see how many stars they got, and then see if they're going to pass, shoot, or skate. But again, it's just another roll. Whereas some of the other games you roll and you roll once and you're done. You don't got to think about it. But I do like it on the PC because you can play the computer. So Strat on the PC, Strat Hockey on the PC is great because you can play the computer and then you can make all the decisions you want. That's what I do enjoy, making decisions when I'm against the computer. When I got to go against myself, not so much fun. So, but anyway. So, thanks everybody that tuned in. We hope to have a new show out Friday if all goes well. If all goes well Friday, a new show, and hopefully we'll be back to a normal schedule pretty soon. But yeah, we had a 1 week detour here with all the madness going on. So far, everybody's okay. Nothing's been lost, but it's just been one big disruption, and that's how things go. So anyway, hey, I'm Dave from Studio B, right next to a flooded out Studio A. Again, it wasn't terrible. It's not like we had water coming up, but it was enough that it wrecked the floor and things are in disarray, if you will. So, general disarray. All right, I'm going to go back. I'm watching Stargate. I went back to Stargate SG-1, and I've been watching all the way back from Episode 1, Season 1, and I decided to watch the whole thing again. I don't know why. Oh, I do know why, because I was watching Pluto TV, and they had the Stargate channel. And I was getting into the old episodes, and I was like, but they're all out of order. I'm like, something? I'm going back, Season 1, Episode 1, and I'm going to watch all 10 seasons, and that's what I've been doing this summer. So I have really, really enjoyed going back and just kicking back and just watching some Stargate and seeing how that all play out. And it's been fun. I loved that show back in the day, and I'm kind of watching it all again. But so that I'm going to go watch a Stargate before I go to bed today. Thank you, David, Gary, World's Worst Gamer, Matt, Brian, Noble, Fanner stopping by, Ed Klingenberger. Ed, good to talk to you again. Thanks for coming by. Arnold stopped by with some boxing. Mungo Jerry was here as well. Michael C. Kenny stopped by. I think I already mentioned Noble. Thomas and Frank came by too. Thank you so much. JT was here for a little while. Dave Little stopped by as well. Around the Layout was here. He might be in bed. He's probably calling me right about now. That's what he's probably doing. And Rob stopped by. And I think, hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but I want to thank everybody for coming by tonight and just kind of listen to me. Sometimes you just need to talk, And it's not as serious as getting trapped under a banner. You're absolutely right. So, hey, I'm Dave from Studio B. So far a dry Studio B, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.